Despite her failed attempts, the evil queen's jealousy and hatred for Snow White grew stronger every day. She became consumed by her wicked desires, performing one dark magic ritual after another to achieve her sinister goal. Finally, the queen's foul experiments yielded a new depraved scheme, a poison of the deadliest kind. She summoned forth a luscious red apple and laced it with this fatal poison. One bite was all it would take to send someone into the sleeping death, a terrifying slumber from which nothing could awaken them. Cackling wickedly, the queen once more disguised her appearance, using sorcery. This time she transformed into a kindly farmer's wife, with rosy cheeks and a warm smile that could disarm the most wary of souls. The disguised queen set off into the forest, with her poisoned apple in the basket. At the dwarf's cottage, Snow White was once again hard at work, scrubbing, baking, and tending to her chores, with a sweet song on her lips. Her lovely voice drifted out the open window and down the forest path. The sly queen came near to the cottage. Sweet cakes, luscious apples, for sale, for sale. Snow White peeked out the window and saw the farmer's wife displaying a basket of fresh red apples. Her mouth watered at the delicious sight. "I'm dreadfully sorry, kind ma'am," Snow White replied politely, "but I'm not allowed to open the door when the dwarfs are away." With her most winning smile, the queen replied, "Not to worry, my dear. A woman like me could do no harm. I'm just selling apples." Snow White's resistance faltered as the queen continued extolling the virtues of her ripe juicy apples. Her lovely young face flushed with temptation at the thought of such scrumptious treats. At last the girl could resist no more. "Just one little taste couldn't hurt," she reasoned as she unbolted the door. The vile queen smiled triumphantly as Snow White accepted the gleaming red apple, taking a big bite of the poison-laced fruit. The old woman transformed into her real self, the evil queen, and laughed wickedly. For at that very moment, the 7 dwarfs came marching up the path from the mines, bellowing their working songs. They arrived home just in time to see the ghastly sight. Snow White collapsed to the floor, the poisoned apple rolling from her limp hand. "You wretched hag!" shouted Grumpy, recognizing the treachery at once. The other dwarfs bellowed angrily and gave chase as the queen fled once more into the forest. Alas, she managed to outdistance them with ease, disappearing from sight by using more of her black magic. Grieving and filled with fury, the dwarfs returned to find Snow White seemingly dead on the cottage floor, not a breath escaping her pale lips. They wept bitterly beside her still body, crying out, "Oh, if only we had been here sooner." Woodland creatures emerged from the forest to mourn beside them. The gentle fawns, rabbits, and bluebirds loved the kind young maiden dearly and wept at her fate. Just then, a majestic stag stepped forth from the trees. "What is it?" the sad dwarfs asked, hoping for some sign of life. Glancing meaningfully from Snow White to a nearby sparkling stream, the stag pawed at the ground. At once the dwarfs understood, Snow White was not dead, but trapped in an unnatural sleep,